All right, what is up? Welcome to the Spoiler Kings. My name is Tim Kramer. I'm with Brandman Brandon, Brian the Grizzly, and we are going to talk about If. We're going to do that movie review. Just came out not too long ago. John Krasinski, Ryan Reynolds. They're the kind of the main guys of this one. Yeah, so we're gonna get to our likes, our dislikes, get into our ratings at the end. But before we do, Brian, you got a rundown of what this one's about?
It's real quick. After discovering she can see everyone's imaginary friends, a girl embarks on a magical adventure to reconnect forgotten ifs with their kids.
Yep. And then ifs mean imaginary friends. I don't know, just in case if you need to say
Well,
it.
I mean, did you hear about the story about how they even started? They decided they're going to do this movie. John
No.
Krasinski and his kids. He was talking to his kids, and he said they were talking about feeling safe and why do you have imaginary friends and stuff like that. And so he decided to make this movie trying to kind of describe why he felt like it was, such an important thing to have imaginary friends. And he said he did it for his kids so they could feel that way too. So I thought that was a cool thing. And then they did this it was this back and forth with him and Ryan Reynolds, and Ryan Reynolds was like, "Oh man, that's so cool," and then the kids were like, "Yeah, some people have cool dads, and other people have you."
That's cool.
Came at his head. It was horrible.
Seriously.
Because
man,
he makes all these movies that you can't watch, so it's the same, a little bit different.
I for a second, I really thought you were gonna say he watched like Foster's Home for Imaginary. For a second, I'm like, he's like, hey, I got an idea.
I probably watched it and then thought that this was the original idea.
How could you not? For all intents and purposes, this is Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, the movie, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I mean that if you guys never seen it before, anybody watching, you gotta check out Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. It was on Cartoon Central, Cartoon Network. I'm sorry, Cartoon Network, and it was awesome. It was pretty good. It was very adult.
Yeah.
It had some adult jokes in there, especially from the main friend whose name is Blue, too. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
And he had some dirty jokes, man. I remember watching it. I'm like, whoa, okay. So, but yeah, so that's cool. It's a cool little breakdown of how it came about. I didn't know that. But we're gonna start off with some stuff that we liked. Brandman, what you like about this film?
I liked the way that it was directed. From an aesthetic standpoint, like I liked how like the really like the color scheme of the movie that John Krasinski kind of went with. It kind of gave it this kind of whimsical, kind of almost childlike feel to it, like the use of lighting, the use of colors, the costuming, stuff like that. So I think he really knew what he was doing with that. I liked the energy the movie carried. I think that John Krasinski had a very clear vision of what he wanted to do with this movie, and he executed it pretty well. Thought it was quite well acted all around the table. I thought the little girl who played Bee was great. Ryan Reynolds is Kaylee Fleming was great. John Krasinski was great in his supporting role. Ryan Reynolds was great. I thought everyone did very well in that department. It just had like this very kind of innocent throwback vibe that I thought it handled quite well. And that kind of ties back to what I said. John Krasinski had a very clear vision of what he wanted this movie to be. And I think that when you're directing something, that's probably the best thing that you can have, is just know exactly what you're going in to do. And he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say that kind of covers mine.
Okay. What about you, Brian?
I love just the feeling it gave me when I was watching it. The most joyful thing for me in my life is when I see my girls enjoying something, and in their eyes, they were lost in the sauce, to say. Like, they were just in the movie. They were in that world. Their eyes were glazed over. They're at an age, at 7 and 9, that these little things, they could understand some adult things, they could understand feelings, and gave them multiple different feelings because they're in that world where they had those type of imaginary friends, and they have fear, because usually you create imaginary friends because you're afraid of something, right? And make you feel more comfortable, gave you the confidence to be what you supposed to be. And I think that's what happened throughout the movie. But they got it. And it's perfect. Their demographic is exactly who you're going for. So I don't think I have ever experienced or enjoyed seeing them watch something like that.
Yeah.
So important to be able to not lose that imagination. And I think that's huge. I felt throughout the entire movie. I felt the emotions in the movie. The father was that hit me right in the heart hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's you get your little girls, and you get your dad, and trying to go through the surgery and not know if you're gonna be there when you're already the only one left. Like, it's right in the heart hole. So I think the overall story knows how to make you feel the emotions. And then the amazing cast. I mean, anyone was in the movie. Like, everybody was a voice actor there, or they were in the movie. Like, it was done so well, in that aspect of it. Yeah, those are my favorite parts of this whole.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shout out to John Krasinski playing the dad. That was great, but just for me, the emotions on this were I did not expect that. I did not expect to be so emotionally exhausted by the end of this film, because it really was, man. And it started off and reminded me of old school Disney films. Like, we're gonna just break your heart. We're gonna make you this feel horrible and be super sad, and then we're gonna build you up, and then we're gonna get you a little scared at the end, but happy ending and stuff like that. I mean, it's a kids movie, so it's a happy ending.
I was waiting
But
for the Pixar sign to come up.
yeah, man. Oh my god, like it was an emotional ride for sure, emotional ride. And but I think that's what part of it was so good for some of, like, kids. It was easy emotion. It was sadness, it was happiness, it was kind of being felt alone and lost. So, and it was like just those basic emotions that they hit perfectly on, and
Mhm.
and I think that's why as an adult you're able to connect with it, and as a kid you're able to, like, connect with it because you could have gone through something similar, maybe not as devastating and stuff like that, but it was really easily to connect with this film and really, like, feel sad, and then feel happy. So I did not expect that, and I think that was, plus all the things you guys said, the cast, everything like that, the way it was directed, the look of it, with the characters and stuff like that. What about some dislikes? Anything you did not like about it, Brandman?
John Krasinski should have just kind of come clean and just admitted that he was repackaging Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. That's what this
I thought you were
was.
like, he should have just died.
No. I'm happy he lived. I'm happy he lived. I'm happy he lived. I'm happy he lived.
Sorry, I thought you were.
No, I don't like seeing John Krasinski die in movies.
Yeah.
I like him.
Unless he becomes spaghetti.
So what?
Unless he becomes spaghetti.
Or an alien gets him.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was just Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, I thought. I think I was a little unclear early on how, like, the people seeing the imaginary friends kind of worked at first. I was kind of like, how does this work? Can anybody see them? Do only kids see them? Like, how does this work? It kind of took a little bit of a minute for me to kind of get a handle on that.
Mhm.
Maybe they could have made the rules a little clearer earlier. It did kind of veer off into kind of generic territory at times with the ill parents and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, my biggest gripe was John Krasinski was kind of saying, well, talking in interviews like he came up with something fresh, when all he really did was just adapt Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends with a couple swapped characters here and there.
What about you, Brian? Anything you didn't like?
Honestly, I thought there was very little character development
Mhm.
as far as the human characters. Besides the main character, like the father, John Krasinski, really didn't learn nothing. It was just like him, being there, and I'm going to live. But he didn't really learn anything through the experience. Which I thought that was kind of misstep. Um, I don't think things changed. The only thing that happened is that he didn't die from surgery. You know, that's probably my main gripe. Like nothing really was learned. Not
Wait, so
much.
you wanted to see him die?
No. I wanted
Okay.
him to learn something. I wanted to have some type of arc. His character are
Mhm.
like this experience created something different for him. He
Mhm.
became a better father listening to her stories, realizing what was going on. Because he was the problem, letting her grow up too fast and not just keeping her a kid. Like it should have been more of a character arc for him to realize, no, I need to keep her this way. It really depends on me to bring that out of her. Like you don't need the imaginary friend, but that helped me realize I need to make it more kid friendly for her so she can do it. And he kind of tried to do it, but saying, do your story, do the story, do the story. But he still really didn't act like a father that really
Mhm.
nurtured her. And I think that was kind of mistaken. It should have happened somehow, somewhere in the movie.
Mhm.
Probably my only main gripe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That is kind of interesting because I'm like, because well, later you find out he has an if, and I thought that was a nice little
That was a
button
great
on
twist.
top of everything, with Keith, being his if.
Who thinks of an invisible if?
That that was pretty funny. Um, but yeah, I wonder because like I thought too when she's like, "Oh, I got a job," and he's like, "Oh, I can't ask," and she's like, "Nope," and she just takes off, and he was just like, "Oh yeah," he said something on like, "Oh, she's starting to get it," or something like that. So I was like, "But you're not doing anything," So
Mhm.
it's like, what are you doing? But then again, I don't know. Maybe Keith was following her the whole time and didn't even know. I
Is
don't
that
know.
is that funny that Keith is also
The
Brad
hell?
Pitt?
Oh, werewolf in the
Sorry about that.
it's like it was funny as shit. It's funny.
Sorry.
It fit.
Was it funny that Keith is also Brad Pitt? So
Oh,
once
that was
again,
hilarious.
that's who he was. It was
Invisible.
Brad Pitt. It was Keith. Once again, the invisible person is Brad Pitt.
Who was Brad Pitt?
He was Keith.
No, he was Keith. Oh my god.
I told you.
That's so stupid. That's so stupid. Ryan Reynolds. Oh my god.
Oh man, I think that's
That's
hilarious.
that is funny. Like another invisible character. That's funny. But I mean Keith didn't talk though, right?
I think he said,
He didn't did
he
he?
said
I
like,
don't
yeah.
that is funny. That's so stupid. Um I don't know, man. I think like my kind of one issue with it, I don't even know if it's an issue, was I guess we're already talking about full spoilers, is everyone's imaginary friend was so animated and goofy and a character, a fake thing.
Mhm.
Late as you find out, Ryan Reynolds' character is an if as well. So as we found this out at the end of the film and everything, and she goes back in and wants to say goodbye and stuff to Ryan Reynolds, I thought they were gonna make him a little bit more cartoony or something, like, oh, maybe he lost that clown part, and he's more human like now because he doesn't want to be a clown, because he's not an if anymore,
Mhm.
but it was just Ryan Reynolds with a stupid hat. It was like that's your if. Like that's your you can imagine anything, and like I don't imagine a little girl, a little kid imagining like, oh, is a dude who's a shitty clown. It's
Yeah, you
like
You
know,
would
what?
think
it.
it'd be a woman, right? You would think it'd be a woman because he lost her mom when she was little. So you think
Mhm.
that it would be a female to replace the mom instead of another male when you already still have your dad.
Yeah.
So that was kind of strange.
I agree, Tank. Where with how they didn't do anything with Ryan Reynolds' character being an if. It reminded me of the end of Casper, where like the wife shows up. You have all these other cartoony, over the top looking ghosts, and then you just have Amy Brenneman looking like Amy Brenneman.
just with like a white aura.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that.
That still pisses me off that she only get like 22 minutes with the ghost. Like, who,
Mhm.
who sets a 22-minute time limit? Like, oh, you can only have this ghost for
Oh,
22
oh,
minutes.
until 10 p.m. that night. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
we're
It was
pissed off.
like, you're at home. You ain't got nowhere to go.
Oh man. But yeah, man, that was my really only kind of one issue, was that. But again, it didn't ruin the movie or anything. Let's get into our ratings. So now, later, never now means you gotta watch it right now. Later means you gotta watch it when it comes out at home, and watch it at home, and never means just skip it altogether. Brandman, what you giving if?
I can give it a later. It was a fine movie.
Hmm.
There were a lot of things about it I liked. I don't think I was necessarily blown out of the water by it. I thought the movie was fine. It's just like a good little throwback style escapism movie. Very lighthearted.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but nothing you necessarily need to rush out to see. So I can give it a later.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you, Brian.
Like, I don't want to give it a later because I really enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed it more than a later movie. But do I think you need to stop everything and go out right now to go see it? No. And it's possible that if will be a better at home movie than will be at the theater. So with all that being said, I will say I'll give it a later, but not because it wasn't good. It's a later because it might be better at home.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, same reason. I'm gonna give it a later too. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It's super entertaining. Less than 2 hours, so that's always a good time when you have a movie less than 2 hours. Yeah, and it was just cute, adorable, fun, emotional. It kind of reminded you of almost being a kid. And stuff like that, which is always good. It's not going to win any awards or anything like that, but it's fun. And like Brian said, I think watching it at home, especially if you have kids, it might be on repeat a couple times, for sure. So, but still a good movie. I mean, if you got nothing else, then you need to take the kids to go see it. Yeah, go to the theater, check it out. They'll have a good time. That is our review and our thoughts for If. Let us know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? You somewhere in between? Let us know what you think about it. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Come and join us every Monday and Thursday. We are live. We have a lot of fun. We talk about movies, TV, news, Hollywood stuff, comic books, video games, a bunch of stuff. So we tend to review everything and talk about everything. So come and hang out with us, and we get nerdy with all the nerd stuff. So it's definitely a fun time. But we appreciate all you guys. Thank you for checking us out, and we will see you guys in the next movie review.